Halli there, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jim and welcome to the Sounds German review for the new Mantar album, The Modern Art of Setting Ablaze. This is a duo hailing from Bremen and releasing their third full-length album. I saw them categorized as doom, as punk, as all kinds of things to be honest, but at least for The Modern Art of Setting Ablaze, I feel that a mixture of sludge and black metal is the most accurate description if you want to boil it down to simply a genre. And you heard it right before, this is a duo, a guitar and a set of drums, which is a combination I probably first actively noticed with the US black metal band Inquisition. I also remember being surprised by the sound they were able to deliver with this basically limited instrumentation, even though I feel most bands could cut out the bass player because, well, it's not like you hear them oftentimes anyways. The intro to this album is an almost 2-minute long moody instrumental piece with clean guitars that echo through what sounds like little bells and build up tension more and more before Age of the Absurd just hits you with a hefty introduction to the strums and sharp guitar noises. This was the first track they picked for a video and I think it was a really clever choice because it showcases incredibly well what this album has to offer in a nutshell. You get these seemingly effortless switches between rhythms as the track starts out with slow-paced, heavy guitars, then transitions with a gut-wrenching shout into something a bit more fast-paced with clangy percussions, which then lead into thin, very black metalish riffing. And that is only within the first 40 seconds of the first track. But at the same time, Mantar returned to the same kind of structure again and again, using this repetition to lull you into their compositions as is typical for black metal. Which is, last but not least, why I feel this album veers more to the black metal side of things, even though the production is clearly not aimed at that direction. For that, it's simply too clean and too high quality, but the structures used, I feel, are very clearly rooted in black metal, and there are moments where the coldness of the composition shines through nonetheless. And don't get me wrong here, I do actually like the mix on this album. While the guitar thrones over the composition like a storm, the drums bring the thunder and have a full, rich sound to them that never gets drowned out. Meanwhile, vocalist Hanno and his raspy, confrontational shouts don't get overshadowed either. This album just strikes a perfect balance in this regard, in my personal opinion. The rest of the album basically continues on the path Age of the Absurd has laid out. I feel it's very obvious that Mantar has found the style of music they want to make, that they had a pretty clear vision for this album, because it feels like a red line that is drawn through every track here. If that's a good thing or not probably depends on your tolerance for this kind of style. For me, the album could have easily done with one or tracks less. Not that it really overstayed its welcome, but by the end of it, I have to admit, it got a little bit samey. This is where the fact that it's just two people maybe becomes a little bit of a crux for the band, because you can simply only do this much with this little. It's not that I disliked any particular track here. Whenever I turned the album on, I was kinda looking forward to the aggressive drumming, shouting and riffing, but that's also all you basically get here, and I noticed how I didn't even really realize that one track was over and the next one had started. So yeah, maybe shaving one or two tracks off would have lessened that. Because it's not like they can switch their pace, as the intro track or the beginning of Obey the Obscene showcase, the latter of which reminding me a lot of French band Alceste when they still managed to mix shoegaze with black metal because of the dreamy, echoing guitar strings you get here. But those moments are fleeting, and most of the time this album just unleashes its full firepower on you. That said, I think if Mantar's style is something you really dig, you are in for an absolute treat. Be it the noticeably heavier chorus, the surprisingly groovy riffs on Teeth of the Sea, or the closing track, The Funeral, where Hanno's vocals get to really carry the track. The Art of Setting Ablaze delivers a pretty consistent experience throughout without any noticeable dips in quality. Honestly, the only reason why this won't wander into my playlist for the future is a reason one could call rightfully subjective as hell. The compositions simply didn't draw me in. I can't even properly explain why, except for I just didn't feel it or I just didn't like it that much. But at the same time, I didn't hate it either. Maybe that is also a side effect of the tracks sounding quite similar most of the time, but I just always felt like, yeah, this is a good song when I listen to the album. Not great, not bad, just really good, hard, aggressive metal. And while I found the sound they managed to create with just two people still sort of impressive, there was just nothing on the album that really managed to hook me in. So, as a conclusion, if a mix of black metal and sludge sounds like something you might enjoy, I think the modern art of setting ablaze is definitely worth checking out. Mantar deliver a strong third album, creating some hefty, aggressive and just absolutely brutal soundscapes, but honestly not much more. If that is your jam though, this album is like an almost 50-minute long buffet. And if you like that style of music but don't have an insatiable hunger for it, give it a go in shorter bursts. Because overall, it's a pretty good album, of which the compositions just didn't manage to reel me in personally, but by the end of it, I also couldn't rightfully call a single song on this disc bad by any means. So, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, leave a like for the video or just subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and want more reviews for bands and artists you have probably never heard of before. If you have listened to the album, let me know with a comment what you thought about it, and if you want to check it out now, you can find all the relevant links in the description below. You can also find my social media accounts linked there. If you want to check out some random music, I do post at least one music video per day there. Thank you very much for watching, I hope to see you again next time. Have a nice day, Salida.